Here we are ready to get started. I am excited to be here with you today for our bonus class. We are getting started. So, welcome, welcome. I have had an amazing week with you. And if you haven't, if you haven't caught the replays, then you want to go ahead and head over to the Facebook group and catch the replays because they're only going to be available for till was today, I think Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. So you want to make sure you grab the replays before they go away. Yesterday we did a beautiful, beautiful healing where you got to really get in touch with who you are, what's going on in your body. Um, I can share there's been some women that have reached out how much of a breakthrough that they've had over these last couple days. So I'm excited and honored to be here with you today, talking to you about how your self-talk really impacts the way you are and the way you show up. And so it's fascinating to me. I pulled a card. I mean, I pull cards before every meeting I do, almost every meeting I do. And the last three I decided to share with you because they're so relative to what's going on. So um, before we get started, this is the card I pulled. It says bearing fruits. Isn't that beautiful? And so bearing fruits, and the concept is about birthing. The result of hard work, an idea, or consistent thoughts, which we're talking about self-talk today, manifests into physical form. The relationship between your external world and the internal feelings and beliefs. This is what we've been talking about the entire week. So you want to make, and today we're going to dive in further on the self-talk and what's happening there. So it says, remember, you birth into the world in that which you pay most attention to, consistently holding within as your truth. So be clear in your mind and in your intentions. What can you make? Can you make this commitment? And so I share this because all week we've talked about your thoughts, your feelings, aligning your inner process, your inner being with what you want. And if it's not in alignment, how you sabotage yourself. So I remember growing up, I set goals. I grew up listening to Zig Ziglar, who is a motivational speaker. He's passed on now, but I didn't want to listen to that. Is that my computer making the noises? I didn't want to listen to that, but my father, that was his role. You went in his car, you listened to what he was listening to. So I grew up listening to Zig Ziglar and other motivational speakers, and um, so I always wanted to set goals and have things, got me to dream. And I remember in my early 20s, I would set a goal, and 6 months later, I revisit the goal and and go to set new goals, and it was the same goal. Nothing I wanted would come to fruition. And I thought to myself, God, what am I doing wrong? People say, like the card just said, think about what you want and hold it as your truth. But here's the thing, if your truth is unconscious or in the subconscious and you don't know what it is, you're going to sabotage yourself to get to where you want to go. So today we're going to really talk about stepping into your self-talk and how different ways to shift your perspective on what you're thinking and feeling. Because the truth is, if whatever your emotional state is, we talked about emotions on Wednesday, whatever your emotional state is what you attract into this world. So when I would set those goals every 6 months, nothing would happen. And I would think that there was something wrong with me. I think that there was that. Drop down in the chat here if that's happened to you. You set a goal, you don't get there, and all of a sudden it's like, what's wrong with me? And the truth is there's nothing wrong. It's just that you get to know you get to get quiet and get still and understand who you are. And so we're going to continue that process. We've been working on that all week. For those that haven't met me yet, my name's Brenda Kiss, and I've helped thousands of women reduce their anxiety, overwhelm, self-doubt to create a life of confidence, of power, of empowerment, to live an inspired, joyful, happy, passionate, fun life. And yes, all of that's possible. I started my life out with those dreams of having being a millionaire, with the dreams of having everything that I ever wanted. You know, people used to call me an airhead or naive because I literally lived in the state of dreaming. And then life happened. I was sexually abused. I was date raped twice. And I really I developed an eating disorder, I guess social anxiety, because I had to drink in order to feel comfortable enough to be social. And so all of that put all of those experiences, I attached a meaning and a feeling to it. And I didn't process this. And I really share a lot about this in the previous videos, but you know, by and through all of that, I didn't process my emotions. I developed self-talk of unworthiness. I'm not deserving. Um, why does things happen to me? This isn't fair. Life isn't fair. And yet I had dreams. I knew that there was something better for me. And so it's diving into where you place your most energy, just like the card said, where you place your most energy. And it's not in your conscious thoughts. Most of our energy is in the subconscious because that's what is our driving force. So today I'm going to share an opportunity for you to get to know another part of you. You know, the more you know you, the more you get to help out. Let me see if I can get rid of what's making all these noises. And I think that's it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share a video with you. And in the beginning, it talks really fast, but don't worry, it's going to slow down. So it's going to sound like why? Hold on one second. Why? I hear my computer. Are you hearing your computer? There we go. Okay. So in the beginning, it's going to sound like Mickey Mouse, but don't worry, it will slow down. And here we go. You see me in the orange shirt. So here I'm going to share with you someone who had, I'll say, super negative self-talk. And she worked with me in my Fear to Freedom program. And I'll let her share how changing her self-talk has impacted her. So let me do that and hit here. No, I know that she's participating and things out there and digging these debates. So welcome, Kelly. I'm good, thank you. Awesome. First, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. I love watching you grow this past year. And I was just, want to ask you, how is stretching yourself this past year? With showing up with stretching yourself, and stretching yourself in the course, how does that help you? It's helped in so many ways. I think what the scariest thing, I think, when we're going through a lot of stuff is like letting go of control. And it's amazing that once you give up the control to be open to moving and thinking, how much control that actually gives you, right? Kind of felt trapped. I felt like I tried everything, done everything, and I felt trapped in my life. I couldn't better. I use this metaphor. I'm really thirsty. My glass of water is orange, and I really can't let myself take it out. Which sounds crazy, but really that's where I was. So where it's helped me now is I have this set of tools that gives me permission to be freer. I've taken on a new job in the last 9 months. It's an incredibly stressful job. And as much as that's stressful, it gets its place. And I've never felt better. I've been in these kinds of jobs before where I can't sleep, I can't eat, I'm stressed all the time. I've literally learned how to find that balance I was always looking for. So it doesn't mean I don't have stressful days, don't have bad days, but my self-talk is more positive. I stopped putting those rules on myself, give myself a break. And it took me almost 50 years old to get to that point. And I feel like a new person. I just feel lighter. I feel more capable. And even though things are stressful, that doesn't define me anymore. That's just the thing I deal with. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense for sure. But that's where I am. I feel so much lighter. And I have these positive discussions with myself. I have something really big going on. And it's not a sad thing. At the same time, but I literally get to do this. And I could have dreamt I would be in a situation to have this problem so many times. It's still a little thing. And I didn't know I feel that way. So I feel so much lighter. Is it still fast or did it slow down? It's good? It's a little fast? I can't change it on this video. I'm sorry. So we have to deal with it being a little fast. It's so much more capable. I also know what my limits are, and I know how to set boundaries. I didn't know where boundaries a year ago. Obviously, know where I didn't know in that context. And now I know how to manage my happiness. I know how to keep peace for myself. And I allow that to be so. I stopped doing it for everybody else at my own expense. And I thought I would still do that now, but take care of myself first. Yes. And then showing up for others is a completely different experience, right? Right. It's not this frenetic stress thing. I took care of myself, and now I can be supportive. I think I used the analogy with you before. It's like on an airplane. They say put your mask on first, and then you can help others. I feel like I'm there now. Like that's my thought, and I continue to do work on. I put my oxygen mask on, and now I can help others. I don't have to help others. I don't have to do it at my own expense the way I used to. Beautiful thing. So I want to take us back to a year ago when you went through a 4-day course or challenge or something, maybe 5 days, or I don't quite remember. But I know that you had some thoughts around fear of freedom, and you're skeptical. And completely honest, you need to share part of your skepticism. I think that's really important because even though you had this skepticism, you still stretch yourself, you still give yourself permission to be curious. So yeah, and at the risk of offending you, if I was very honest with you, I said this feels like happy worship. It can sense burning things. We're talking about chakras. I'm really, third eye's gonna come out of this. I'm like, there's just no way. I'm very type A. I'm very, very skeptical. And what allowed me to consider this is after a few days, it was one of those 4 or 5 day challenge things. For the first time, in any time that I could actually remember, I had hope, and I'd forgotten what it felt like to be hopeful. Hopeful about the future, what could happen. So I joke about it, but that's where I was. I was not in a good place. I come off like I was still going through a whole lot of things that happened at once. I'm like, I like 10 countries, the whole time. I was on 10 countries all over the world, and I had no energy to even think about what could be. I was living my own mess mentally, and I didn't have any hope. So like, well, I got to the point like, that was my fault. So hold on.
felt better. I've been in these kinds of jobs before where I can't sleep, I can't eat, I'm stressed all the time. I've literally learned.
Yes. Okay.
How to invest in freedom and then stretching yourself in the course. How has that helped you?
It's helped me in so many ways. I think the scariest thing, I think, when we're going through a lot of stuff is letting go or giving up control. And it's amazing that once you give up the control and be open to a new way of thinking, how much control that actually gives you, right? Kind of felt trapped. And so I felt like I tried everything, done everything, and I felt trapped in my own life, like I couldn't get better. I use this metaphor. I'm really thirsty. The glass of water is within arm's reach, and I literally can't will myself to pick it up, which sounds crazy, but literally that's where I was. So where it's helped me now is I have this set of tools that gives me permission to be freer. I've taken on a new job in the last 9 months. It's an incredibly stressful job. And as much as that's stressful, it's in its place. And I've never felt better. I've been in these kinds of jobs before where I can't sleep, I can't eat, I'm stressed all the time. I've literally learned how to find that balance I was always looking for. So it doesn't mean I don't have stressful days, don't have bad days, but my self-talk is more positive. I stopped putting those rules on myself. I give myself a break. And it took me almost, I'm almost 50 years old to get to that point. And I feel like a new person. I just feel lighter. I feel more capable. And even though things are stressful, that doesn't define me anymore. That's just a thing I deal with. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense for sure.
But that's where I am. I feel so much lighter. And I have these positive discussions with myself because I have something really big going on. And it's kind of a sad thing at the same time. It's like, but I literally get to do this. And I couldn't have dreamt I'd even be in the situation to have this problem. So in context, it's still a really good thing. And I didn't know I could feel that way. Right. So I feel so much lighter.
Is it still fast or did it slow down? It's good. It's a little fast. I can't change it on this video. I'm sorry. So we have to deal with it being a little fast.
And so much more capable. I also know what my limits are and I know how to set boundaries. I didn't know the word boundaries a year ago. Obviously we know the word, but I didn't know it in that context. And now I know how to manage my happiness. I know how to keep peace for myself. And I allow that to be so. I stopped doing for everybody else at my own expense. And I found a way to still do that now, but take care of myself first.
Yes. And then showing up for others is completely a different experience, right?
Right. It's not this frenetic stress thing. I took care of myself and now I can be supportive. I think I used the analogy with you before. It's like when you're on the airplane, they say, put your mask on first and then you can help others. I feel like I'm there now. Like that's what I've done and I continue to do and work on. I put my own oxygen mask on and now I can help others. But I don't have to help others. I don't have to do it at my own expense or the way I used to.
It's a beautiful thing. So I want to take us back to a year ago when you went through a 4-day course or challenge or something, or maybe it was 5 days or I don't quite remember. But I know that you had some thoughts around fear to freedom and you were skeptical.
And totally skeptical.
And completely honest. Can you just share part of your skepticism? I think that's really important because even though you had this skepticism, you still stretched yourself. You still gave yourself permission to be curious. So.
Yeah, and at the risk of offending you, because I was very honest with you, I said this feels like happy horseshit, like incense burning hippie things. And we're talking about chakras. I'm like, really? And like third eyes are gonna come out of this. I'm like, there's just no way. I'm very type A. I'm very, I'm very skeptical. And what allowed me to consider this is after a few days, it was one of those 4 or 5 day challenge things. For the first time in any time that I could actually remember, I had hope and I'd forgotten what it felt like to be hopeful about the future, what could happen. So I joke about it, but like that's where I was. I was not in a good place. I'd come off like I was still going through a whole lot of things that happened at once. I'm like, my life was like 10 country songs, the old kind, not the fun new kind. It was like 10 country songs rolled into one. And I had no energy to even think about what could be. I was living in my own mess mentally and I didn't have any hope. So I'm like, well, I got to the point, like, what do I have to lose? So you gave me hope. And even after a couple days, and it was like, a couple hours of time, you gave me a hope that I don't know that I've had even as a child. And I had to part my own judgment aside for a minute, recognize humbly, I don't know everything. And maybe I could learn something from this. Maybe not everything. Maybe I don't believe everything. But I allowed myself to let's see what happens.
And having that hope and stretching yourself, because I know we talked and then you were like, you know what, I can't do this, and then I said, I don't remember the exact conversation. And then I said, let's reconnect in a day. I told you to do something or think or.
You did. You gave me an exercise to do. And something clicked that said, I just have to give this up to possibilities. I have to stop trying to, I'm in a bad place. I didn't determine how I got here, but I'm not going to get out of it unless I shift the dynamic. And I've never been one to be like, I'm a victim, I'm a survivor, or any of this other stuff. Those things make me very, very uncomfortable. And I do want to be in control, but I had gotten to the point where I felt so out of control that I needed to control more to keep bad things from happening. So I really had to do the complete opposite and be open and just see what happens. And that's very vulnerable, especially for someone like me. It made me feel very vulnerable, but it was the best decision I ever made for myself. Wow. I stand by that.
Awesome.
I can't believe that I'm here today, a year late. I can't believe it.
Yeah. And I mean,
Doesn't mean I'm perfect. Not every day's perfect, but I am a new and improved version of myself that I couldn't have seen.
that's amazing. Oh, it touches my heart so much.
I know it's hard for me to talk about. I'll get choked up, but I'm so grateful. I really am.
Yeah. And I always say our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings dictate our reality. It dictates what shows up in our life. And I know when we met, you were searching and searching and searching for a job and trying to find your way and all of that. And just a few months of doing some inner work, you landed a job that you're enjoying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. I'm back doing the work that I love, and they agree. Back doing the work that I love, and it's very, very fulfilling in a way that even my work wasn't before. So I'm part of that. The place I am, they recognize things in me that I always knew were in me, but other people couldn't see. So I'm definitely freer and lighter, even though I have a lot of responsibility, and I've dealt with all the other stuff that was all happening. It was just a confluence of events, and I got to the point where I just was struggling to find the strength to keep going.
And somebody that's listening today that's on the fence of filling out an application or booking a call to become part of Fear of Freedom, what would you say to them?
Just, you don't even have to have an open mind, just have an open heart. Like, what do you want? What do you want to be different? How do you, if you could write out who you are a year from now, like me, what would that be? So you don't have to think about that. What does your heart want for you or your family? Because you really have to help yourself first. And if that's a very different picture from where you are today, then I'd say schedule a conversation and just see what the possibilities are. I couldn't have imagined this for myself. I really couldn't at all. And I continue to admire you, Brenda, as a leader in your craft, and continue to see more and more possibilities for growth. I'm just amazed. So if what you want for yourself in your heart, you don't have to change how you think about anything, because gosh knows I struggle with that, is different from where you are today. It's worth the discussion.
But you're a beautiful person, and I
Thank
am
you.
honored and to have worked with you and continue to work with you. Thank you for taking time today.
Of course.
Here. And you listening, go ahead, book your call, apply at apply.
So there's, where are we? Okay. So what's your takeaway from listening to her? What is the feeling that Kaylee brought up for you? What is the thoughts that Kaylee brought up for you? Drop them in the chat. I want to hear. You know, I find so much value when I am doing work like this, when I'm actually researching and looking at different things that I want to do for myself, to hear from people that have gone through and have experienced what you guys have and beyond. Hey, good morning, Sherry. Good to see you. And so and Starfire got back on, and awesome. And Allison, welcome. And so I just want to ask you to tune into these thoughts again. Are you in the wishing and the hoping, like showing up here, showing up there, potentially, you know, popping in and leaving, or, you know, are you looking for that magic bullet, not fully committed, right? Not fully committed. That's a wisher and a hoper, that just hoping and wishing one day, someday, maybe, might, right? But you keep showing up and you keep hoping that you get into, you just get that magic little something. I can tell you, self-help, this type of work isn't a one-time thing. It's small, consistent steps over and over and over that creates the big aha, that creates the, it reminds me of my client, Doreen. I spoke to her about her earlier this week. Like, I love watching Doreen have aha moments, right? So she will go be in class and you'll be like, oh, right? Like, she'll just have this big awakening thoughts. And I'm like, where do you think that thought came from? She goes, well, it just happened. I said, no, it's all the little steps, all the little things, all the little shifts that you've been making. And now there's a big shift. So it's not just a magic pill that's going to, if that worked, you would antidepressant medicines would have you safe. Like, you know, like there's definitely medications out there that you could try, but the magic bullet, that magic pill, isn't going to happen, right? Because it isn't substantial. You get to create small, consistent steps. So if you're a wisher and a hoper, there is no judgment here, just for you to identify. And then I'm going to ask you when's the next step? When do you become a dabbler and a doer? Or do-it-yourselfer? And that's where you dabble into one place, into another place, and you're hoping that, you know, something will click for you, but you're not actually fully committed yet. You're still like a little bit of self-doubt in there that something could work for you, or you're lone wolfing it. You're doing it all by yourself, and you're thinking, okay, I can do this. I can do this.
Well, I can tell you that didn't work for me and many of the clients that I worked with. It's being part of a community, it's being part of a collective that really accelerates your growth, right? Or are you the I'm ready no matter what, and I'm all in no matter what? And I'm going to ask you, if you're a doer and a dabbler, what do you get to tell yourself? What do you get to realize? Ask yourself, how long have you been doing and dabbling? How long? How many years? And where has that gotten you? Right? So ask yourself this question, what do I get to believe in myself to take me to the next step? That I'm in all no matter what. And I can tell you every single person, and that is with my program or any other program, when you are fully committed, you may feel scared because you're thinking outside that box thinking, and your ego is like, I don't like that. Come on back over here. Wants to put you back in your box. And it's a thought that you never had because you've never done it. Or maybe you did commit in your head, I'm going to do something, and it didn't work out. So then you're like scared to recommit. Right? And so here's what I'm going to invite you to do. You will get nowheres if you don't listen to your heart. If you continue to listen to what's logical and what makes sense, it's not going to fulfill you. Your heart always leads you in the path, but our human nature will lead us in the path of least resistance. Following your heart is not a path without resistance. It is a path full of obstacles that you get to overcome. But the human mind will want to go with what's easy. And so I invite you to lean into your resistance, and we're going to talk more about that tomorrow, to lean into your resistance, to follow the heart. Your heart is guiding you. And I'm just going to tell you a quick story because I feel like this is so important, because I want to be clear on this. Following your heart doesn't mean the next decision is the absolute decision. It means it's on the pathway to your greatest breakthrough, right? So following your heart, if you are following your heart, you are on your path to living an incredibly amazing life. As long as you continue to stay on the path of following your heart. And so I had a friend who was in a job and in like a manager authority position, and she wanted to date one of her employees, and that's illegal, right? Like that's in her employee where she was, it was an illegal, like against policy that managers could date employees. So she was like, I really want to date this person. I really want to date this person. And I said, well, you get to make a couple choices. You either get to follow your heart, which may lead to different consequences, or you cannot. And I said, following your heart doesn't mean that this is going to be the love of your life and you're going to live happily ever after. It means you're following your heart and you don't know what's next for you. But you're in that place of trusting your feeling, trusting your intuition, trusting what you're being guided to. And when you're doing that, and she did, and she ended up leaving her job to date this person and had the most incredible 4 months of her life. And then the person left her and married someone else. Sounds like a sob story, right? That journey put this person on her spiritual awakening path. That journey was the catalyst for her trusting her heart, trusting her intuition. And now she's an incredible spiritual leader living a super fulfilled life. So any person might have thought like, oh man, I made the wrong decision. This isn't exactly how I saw it unfolding. But when you trust and you listen to that little feeling that says, I got to do this and it feels scary anyway. I got to do this even though it feels scary. You're putting yourself on path, and you get to be open to what's next for you. You get to be open to what's the possibilities. What's this new way of being? Does that make sense? I want to hear, drop below what your takeaway from that story was. Because she didn't listen to the thoughts in her head.
She didn't listen to like, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that, I can't do this, I can't do that. She dropped into her heart and she followed what her heart was telling her. She was all in, no matter what. She gave up a 6-figure position. How many of you would have done that? But she trusted her heart more than anybody I ever know. And she still does. It brings me to like, I get so emotional. And her heart has led her into some really incredible experiences and some really challenging experiences. I would take that word sometimes out and I would put the word always. Your heart always knows best. Your heart is your home. Your heart is your soul. Your heart is your essence. And when you live from your heart, you're living from that higher consciousness. It's the ego that plays tricks on us. It's the ego that goes into the logical thinking of the world. So today we're going to be talking about how your self-talk really counts. Are you listening to your ego? Are you listening to your heart? And you've done a lot of work this week to get out of the head and into your heart, creating space of peacefulness and calmness, releasing. So I'm going to share with you resources today that will help you no matter where you are in your life. And that is an absolute true statement if you take what I'm sharing with you and you bring it into your life. So now we talked about tuning in. If you came last night to the healing, you had an incredible experience to tune into your body. We've talked all week about tuning in and doing processes to attune into your emotions and your stories and all of that. And we talked about ways to identify your emotions and how to redirect patterns. Anybody still using? Drop in the chat if you were still using your pattern interrupt, your funny sound, your funny noise. Yeah. If you are, yay for you. And if you're not, recommit. See, change happens with little baby steps. Yes. Yay. Awesome. I love it. So let's move further into your healing so you can reconnect with you. Your mind is programmed. It's a reptilian brain, and it is programmed to always look for what's wrong. That's our survival mechanism. That's the way we've survived throughout the life, but we don't want to just survive in life. I said, I don't want to just survive in life. What about you? You want to thrive or survive? You want to thrive through your life or do you want to survive through your life? Yeah. I see. Survive or thrive? Drop it down. And so what happens is you develop a self-talk from that survival mode, because that's how we were born. That's how we're literally wired as human beings to do that. And so you had an experience that gave you and that experience gave a meaning to that experience. And then from that feeling, you develop beliefs and stories, and we worked on that this week, right? So I'll give you an example. You can have an experience of going through the grocery store. Guess I like to food shop because I talked about grocery shopping the other day, huh? You can go to the grocery store and someone, the cashier is just like, not just mean, like not nice. It's kind of like grunting as she's swiping your things. And now you give that a meaning and you start talking and be like, man, she's really mean. I don't like this experience, or whatever you say, right? And so you start to develop stories based on that experience. And you develop them from your stories of victimhood, of your stories of surviving. Someone that has changed their self-talk, has elevated their energy from surviving to thriving, may see that cashier and go, oh, I wonder what's going on with her today. Because her experience has nothing to do with you.
And so if you go, I was like, I wonder what could I help? What could I say to her that might help her? Or what way of being can I be to give to her today instead of all defensive or whatever, however somebody would respond, right? So you've had experiences in your life that started to dictate your beliefs. And these beliefs are stories, and these stories are told in some way or another. And these stories affect your energy, your actions, your lack of actions, your relationships, your communication, your health, and your wealth. So what's the belief that you're telling? What's some of your self-talk? That's what we're going to dive in today. A belief. Anybody know what a belief is?
Drop it in the chat.
It's going to be a fabulous day. That is a belief. Who's responsible for creating that? A belief is a lie that you tell yourself that you choose to believe. You cannot prove a belief to be true or prove a belief to be wrong. A belief is something that is just there. Some beliefs are stronger than others. Some beliefs can be, what's the word, questioned, right? But you have deep-rooted beliefs from your survival mode, from that reptilian brain that is keeping you from where you want to be. And so today I'm going to give you some proven tools that will help you, wherever you are, feel better in this moment. So the third key in creating a life you love is really hearing and tuning in and being super aware of the words that you are saying to yourself and the words that you're using about others. I just did an application call with Renee today, and she was so super aware of her words. It's so powerful. Your words reveal so much about your belief systems. So you're going to learn tools today to help you elevate your energy, help you elevate your emotions, which is the key to creating a life you love, so that no matter what the story or the experiences are, there's many perspectives you can make up from one experience. I'm one of 3 children. I am blessed that my parents are still married. I know it's a rarity. My parents have been together since we were, same parents, same mom, dad, my older sister, my younger brother, we were raised in the same house. My sister, myself, and my brother and I have very different perspectives and beliefs around the world. So the way that something is shared with you, you have what's called a frame of reference from your experience, and you take it in and you give it a thought, a feeling, a belief, and a story. And so you want to learn. So what today you want to look at and be curious about things, and be curious about different perspectives, different questions, different ways of being, so that you can just get curious as to like, why did I say that? What about that thought is important to me? Right? It's like getting like you heard me say this week, doubt the doubt, right? We will always go into doubt. That's fear, that's the ego. But if we doubt the doubt and we can come up with other thoughts, other solutions, that's what we're going to talk about today. So one of the best ways to get unstuck and to bring more positive thought and energy into your day is to focus on these 3 main areas. And what I share with you today is the tip of the iceberg. We literally spend 12 months diving into these 3 areas. So you will get, taking this and mastering it will absolutely help you when you're in unresourceful states like grief or depression or sadness or regret or overwhelm. Anybody experience any of those? Drop them in, just drop yes. And so these are 3 areas to master your energy and create a life you love. The first area is your physical body. And I know this may seem so simple, but it's true. Your physical body
is the quickest and fastest way to help you shift out of an unresourceful state. So let's do this. Let's test this out right now. I want you right now to put yourself, just imagine someone who's depressed. And if it's you, you won't have to imagine hard, but how do you normally sit or stand? Like when I think of someone that's in depression, they're more like this, right? I'm gonna have to round my shoulders a little bit. And they're down here and they're looking at the ground. And when you're in this state, when your body is in this physical position, just notice there is no way you will get to a resourceful answer, a resourceful feeling if I don't care how much positive self-talk you get, your body language is speaking what? Unresourceful, depressed. You will not get to a resourceful state. So then just bring your shoulders back and put your head up. And then this is what's called energy neutral. This isn't positive or negative. This is just a neutral state. And then when you put your shoulders back and chin up, this is what's called energy rich, and you're open to energy and things coming into you. You'll put yourself in the highest resourceful state physically, right? So your body gives you the opportunity to shift your state like that. I want everybody to take a pen, a clean pen, and do this. If you don't have a pen, you can just smile. There you go. Smiling, or you can take the pen out. Smiling or putting the pen in your mouth does the same thing as smiling, and actually begins to release endorphins and makes you happier. That little, right? But when you're sad or upset, you don't want to smile. So that's where I say, let's put the pen in your mouth, right? Because it actually begins to release endorphins and make you happier. Just small steps that you can start to take. Look at your body positioning. Where is your body? If you're hunched over and that is your natural state, opening up is going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel naked. You're going to feel vulnerable. But this is where you get to allow. Here, you're all closed off, right? So you could do anything to raise up. This is why I have us shake our body, shake it out. I have us use our body when we do things in class, because our body is our quickest way to shift our energy, right? Breathing. Just breathing shifts our energy. So anything you can do with your physical body to shift your state. If you are in an unresourceful state, drop down any unresourceful states that you're in. Maybe it's anger. Maybe it's hurt. Maybe it's sadness. Maybe it's overwhelmed or stress or frustration. The first thing you do, and I'm going to give you other resources, is to do something different with your body. So if you're angry, take a walk. Or deep breathing, or whatever. Or if you're sitting, stand up and jump up and down. And Tony Robbins has this saying to jump on a trampoline, like a little mini, he calls it a rebounder, a little mini rebounder in your house. For 1 minute, you completely shift everything in your body and you become in a resourceful state. It's getting yourself to use the resources that you get to work on, right? But these are small little things, and you just put a pen in your mouth. You don't even have to smile if you're upset. You can literally just put the pen in your mouth and it will start to release endorphins and start to make you feel happier, have happier thoughts. Simple little things: drinking water, take a bath, exercise, eat healthy, dancing. I did a dance party Thursday with Angelica. Got taken down though. Facebook didn't like it. And so dancing is such a healthy way. And you can dance by yourself, dance for the party. There's so much. Think of just little things that you can do differently with your body. Little things. Was it yesterday? I don't remember. One day this week, I was like, I just have to be outside today. Like, I just get to be outside because my office that you see me in here is in the basement of my house. And I'm like, I cannot be in my office any longer. I need to be outside. So I took all my work and I sat outside. And so you get to start to really, what is it? Just shift your body, move one way. Movement is a key to releasing emotions. If you have emotions that are stuck in your body, start moving your body. So I shared this story a while back. I'll share it again because I just think it's so simple. And yet we forget about these really simple things. Remember, it's not big things that make big changes. It's these little simple things that create big changes, right? So I'm sitting, I think it was during COVID. My son and I were sitting, how old is it? What are we, 3 years ago? So he was like 7. I think this is even prior. So I think he was 5 or 6. And we're sitting in my house doing puzzles, and you guys don't know my son, but he is a mover and a shaker. He does not like to sit still. He literally rolls around until he's done. Like he crashes in bed, like he'll turn, and then all of a sudden he's asleep. Like he literally does not stop moving the entire day. He has now that he's gotten a little older, but back then. And we were sitting doing puzzles, and he loved doing puzzles, and we were doing puzzles, and he literally wasn't moving, like on the floor doing puzzles. We must have sat there for, I don't know, 45 minutes. And he was on his last puzzle, and he had like 2 or 3 pieces left to the puzzle, and he could not figure out the puzzle. And so he's like, I hate this puzzle. This is ridiculous. Oh, he didn't use that word. I hate this puzzle. I'm not doing it. And I said, Brennan, look at all the puzzles you just did. I said, you obviously just, when something isn't fun or feeling good anymore, you get to change your state. I said, go run up and down our steps a few times. Go jump on the trampoline and come back. See, moving his body. He literally came back and went boom, 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 like 30 seconds later. So imagine if you were tuned into your body so much that when your body, when you are so tuned into your body, you just know what your body needs. It's the disconnection, but you can use your body in anything that you want. So if you have a lot of emotions that you are holding on to, movement. Notice your resourceful state. Are you hunched over, your shoulders neutral, or your shoulders back? And it's like almost like the empowerment stance, right? So that is the first area that you get to really master is your body. Your body is your temple, it's your biggest messenger. You want to get to know your body. And you can do these small little things. If you're sitting, stand up. If you're standing, jump up and down, shake your body out. These small little things make rapid change, right? The next area, which we're going to spend a little bit of time today in, is your language and your communication. What are you saying to yourself daily? What do you speak out loud? How are you speaking about yourself? How are you speaking about others? Telling yourself about life, about your healing. Are you able to, are you willing to invest in yourself, or do you just stop yourself before you even get to opportunities? Are you telling yourself, is this really going to help me? How do I spend money on me when I have a family who needs it? How do I justify spending money on me? Do I deserve to heal? Do I deserve to take care of myself? I used to say things like this. What are you saying to yourself? I used to say, I'm not smart enough. I'll never be skinny enough, not capable enough. Moms aren't supposed to work. Drop below, what are some of the stories you're telling you? And maybe you're not talking mean about you, but you talk mean about others. I can't believe this person does this. I can't believe that this person is like this. Or that person is so judgmental. I always say you spot it, you got it. So what are you saying about other people? When you're looking at other people, what are the thoughts going through your mind? This is all self-talk that you get to tune in. Or maybe you're generalizing and you're saying, people are mean. Nobody cares about me. I do for everyone else, but nobody does for me. Okay, listen, it's time to play full out. What are some of these things that you're telling yourself? What are some of these things that you're telling yourself? We are going to do a process. So I would like for you to identify what is the number one story. So close your eyes for a moment. take a nice deep breath in and out. Just another grounding breath in and out. One more deep breath in and out. What's the number one thing you repeat to yourself that's not empowering every day? And just allow yourself to think of this thought, this feeling, this story. Mine used to be, there's something wrong with me, or I'm doing something wrong. What is your story? The one that just keeps coming back and back and back. And as you allow yourself to think of this story now, what is it? Drop it in the chat. I tell myself I wish my mother had. So what does that, what's the next thought under that, Linda? Okay, so there you go. I don't want to live anymore. I can't take it anymore. That's the thought you get to work on. Okay. So whatever your story is, that's what we're going to work on today. I'm so tired. I can't keep up. Yeah. So therefore, you continue to feel tired. For you, Linda, you continue to not have great experiences, right? You continue to create things that make you not want to live. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to stand up. Stand up, stand up. Okay. So we talked, I believe it was Wednesday, about patterns and how everything in our life is a pattern. Your thoughts are patterns. The way you feel is a pattern. The way you react to someone is a pattern. The way someone reacts to you is a pattern. The way you communicate is a pattern. Everything we do is a pattern. The way you get dressed, the way you, like, just think about it. The mind wants to find the easiest solution. So once you do something over a period of time, it creates a pattern so you could do it habitual. Anybody got habits, healthy or unhealthy habits? That's because it's a pattern and it just becomes part of your being. So just think of it, and the human mind just wants to find ease. Anything that has pressure or a resistance, the human mind's like, nope, what's the easiest way out of this pressure? What's the easiest way to release this pressure? What's the easiest way to just feel better in this moment? And it will do whatever's familiar. So that's why stepping outside of your comfort zone is so uncomfortable. That's why when you're growing and wanting to change and there's so much resistance, it's because your heart wants you, I spoke about your heart wants you to dive forward, but the ego is like, well, this is familiar. This is easy. I know this route. Let's stay here. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if you're not happy, even if you're struggling in some areas of your life, right? So we did this, we talked about pattern interrupts. And if you weren't here on Wednesday, I'm going to share with you how to create one for yourself. And so for those that were here Wednesday, you have your pattern interrupt. That's your silly word and silly movement. So I'm going to give you one today. You can create one for yourself. You can use one yourself, but a silly word or a silly movement is just like wiggle, 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 or bananas, or woo. It could be anything you want it to be, but it's yours. And you can totally take mine that I just shared, or you could do something different for yourself, whatever you choose. So here's what's going to happen. Here's the process we're going to go through right now. You're in a minute, I'm going to ask you to think of that story that you hold on to. You're going to go through the pattern interrupt, and then you're going to state a new story, one that you want. So I want you to think of that goddess version of yourself that person that you desire to be, what's that thought? Drop that, just have it. You can drop it in the chat afterwards. Just have that thought and just let me know with a thumbs up if you have it. And if you're watching the replay, just drop a thumbs up in the chat. And if you're on camera, off camera, you can just drop it up in the chat too. So it's like, you know, for me, when I was going through this journey, I wanted nothing else but to feel healthy and strong. Hey, I lost you. Where'd you go? That's weird. When I started my journey, I wanted nothing more than just to be healthy and strong. And that was it. I didn't need to feel connected. I didn't need to feel expansive. I just wanted to be, because I was in a really low place, I just wanted to be healthy and strong. So it could be as simple as that, or it could be I'm me, or I'm free to be me, whatever it is. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. If you're going to start on, I always say to the left and then step to the right. All right. But if the other way feels more comfortable for you, then do the other way. All right. So here's what you're going to do. I'm going to demonstrate, and then we'll do it together. Okay. You're going to go, I'll just say, I'm scared to be me. What? Me. And you're going to go back. I'm scared to be me. Oh, I love me. Right. And we're just going to keep doing that. You don't have to jump. You can literally step, but you're going to say the negative, low vibrational thought that you have. Like, I can't, I'm so tired. I can't, I don't want to live anymore. Whatever it is, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I can't put myself first, whatever the story is. Okay. And then you're going to do your silly move. Mine's going to be wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And then you step to the right and you say, I am whatever that new thought is that you just created. All right. We're creating a change here, girls. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. I am scared to be me. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I love me. Back. I'm scared to be me. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I love me. I'm scared to be me. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I love me. I'm scared to be me. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I love me. Now stay in the energy of what you want to become. Close your eyes and just feel that energy going through your body. Just feel it, breathe into it. And now let this energy be expressed, whatever that is, whether it's like a big yes, or a wow, or yeah, yes, yes, awesome. And then go ahead, stand back, and you're just going to let this new expression come in again. Yes, whatever your new, I love me is mine. I love me. Yes. Yes. All right. So say your new story, new self-talk. Yes. It's me. I love me. Woo-hoo. Yes. Yes. All right. One more time. Your new thoughts. I love me. Yes. Yes. All right. Give each other high fives. Awesome. Awesome. Take a seat. Write down your new story. Drop it in the chat so I can see. And just notice how it feels to own that. See, what we just did was we took the energy, we took the old energy, made it silly, and replaced it with the new energy, and we took it through. It hurts my back to do it. Well, then you get to do a different move where you don't hurt, Lynn. Right? You don't have to do, you get to listen to your body. So whatever feels good, whatever movement feels good to you. So, but you want to put in the new thought. We don't want to just say it. We don't want to just write it. We actually want to embody it, right? We want to put it through our body to create a different result. So now our body has a memory of this experience. Our body has a connection to it, right? All right. So the third area to focus on is the third area of master is focus. What you focus on grows. That's exactly what the card said when we started. I'll show you guys again. Is what you focus on grows. So be mindful of what you focus on. And so when our body hurts, when we're in emotional stress or physical stress or mental stress, you know what the body will do? It will come up, it will start to ask questions. And that's because our body goes into survival mode and wants to figure out a way to survive. And so when we're in that stressful state, whether it's a physical stress, like Lynn, you just said, my body hurts, that's a physical stress, right? Emotional stress or a mental stress or anything else, a relationship, happening. And so our body will go into questioning. So I want you to think for one moment right now and just recall the three questions that you ask yourself. If I look at back, if you want to close your eyes and just go back in time to a stressful moment, could have been earlier, could have been now, could have been 3 weeks ago. And just a stressful time, what are the questions that you ask yourself? For me, it would be like, why does this always happen? Why can't I find anything? Why am I always alone? Those were type of questions that I asked myself. And here's what's freaking amazing. Your brain, your being was designed to find your answers to your question. You have all of the answers to who you are, what you want, what you need inside of you. The problem up until now is that you've been asking yourself the wrong questions. And you are finding solutions to the questions that are not serving you. Why am I alone? What's wrong with me? Why can't I be happy? Why can't I, whatever, the why can'ts. How is that ever going to be possible for me? Right? So when we go into an unresourceful state, you get to use a pattern interrupt that we've just made, or the one that you made up for yourself on Wednesday. And you get to bring that into practice and then replace it afterwards. It's like with a quality question, an empowering question. I'm going to share 3 with you, and then I'm going to have you create one for yourself. So you have one that comes from your own being versus me telling you what one is, right? Because it's so much more empowering, so much more impactful when something comes from within yourself. But I'll give you some general ones. Like an empowering question is, what's good about this right now? How is this serving me right now? What's my lesson I get to learn from this experience right now? So the quality of the questions you ask yourself determine the quality of your life. So you want to be asking yourself really quality questions. So I'm going to give you a format to ask quality questions. Quality questions usually start with what or how. They usually have a phrase in there that assumes you already know, like continue. How can I continue to feel better? Right? Or how can I feel even better? So even better, continued, even more. It puts under the assumption that you already know. So that way, like if you say, how do I make more money? You could easily say no to that, right? But how can I make even more money? Now your brain is thinking a different path. It's like actually looking for a way. And then you always want to put the question in the now. This actually supports the root chakra, by the way. But when you put the question in the now, then you find your solution now instead of waiting, right? So it could be like, how can I feel even happier in this moment right now? That would be a quality question. What is a quality question based on what I shared? Give me your drop in the chat. I'll give you some support, but it could be something along the lines like, how can I make this even easier for me in this moment? what is good about my life? What is even, how can I create an even better life in this moment? How can I create even more fun? How can I bring even more joy into my life right now? How can I be even kinder to myself right now? What can I do to put myself first with love even easier in this moment? See how they're all focused on what you want more of in your life? That's what you want. So to recap, the three areas to master is your physical body, the communication, what you're saying to yourself, and what you're focused on. Which one tool I gave you was questions. There's many tools to each one of those, but I'm just sharing an overview with you today. And so those are the three areas that you really want to master in order to create an emotional state that's empowering, that attracts the things that you want in your life. And so that's where you want to focus. Those are the three areas you want to focus on. The first area, Lynn, was your physical state. Your physical state. And so I want, and what you guys experienced this week was, I'll say, a transformation, drop down transformation. If you were feeling better than when you started this 4-day mini course, drop down transformation. If you're feeling better, had a breakthrough, or felt a shift within yourself, you got what I call a jump start. This is a jump start to your next experience, your next journey. So often people think that, they come and they experience something, they feel really good, and then they think that's it. This is literally the beginning of your transformation. This is what I call the jump start to where you get to go. And I wanted to share with you a few women, I guess a few months ago, I had one of my coaches interviewed some of our women that are part of our program. And I just wanted you to hear their perspective of what it was like coming to something like this and then taking that next step for them. So let me get that set up for you. This week, that's what we work on. We work on your body, we work on your mind, we work on your spirituality, your connection to yourself, your connection to your body. And we help you grow into rediscovering your truest essence of who you already are. And one of our most powerful tools that I believe we do transformational work together, like you've been all week, and deeper. But I feel like one of the most powerful tools that I see for so many women is our sisterhood. And so I wanted you to hear just a little bit about what it's like to be part of this sisterhood of people using this transformative Neuro Reiki process to get them to where they are today.
The middle of nowhere, and there's not a lot of friends up here. So this is the human interaction I was craving. And I absolutely feel so accepted and so welcomed and so warmth just from everyone. We want to help each other. We want to hear your problems. We want to help you with your problems. We want to be able to feel safe expressing our own problems. And that was what I just was craving, was being able to talk to different people about different things on any different day. And you don't get that along with the respect and also honoring each other's feelings. And this was a safe place where I felt like people honored each other, and in a sacred, our feelings are sacred here. And that's what I felt like. Mm-hmm. And that's why I will always feel like this is just something you don't get every day. And that was pretty magical. Even amongst other groups I've been in, this one, it's you can feel it.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I couldn't agree more. Alexis, how's it been for you having a sisterhood?
Honestly, it's been scary and intimidating at first. For this to be so new, especially people who want to support my growth and want to support, my healing. It's not something I was used to. So there was a lot of resistance at first because it's scary. But I do love the connections, seeing other people connect. As Christine said, able to share a problem, and it's met with solution. It's met with options. It's not met with that same vibration of the problem. It's met with raised vibration to get you to come up so that you can see the solution and the answer within you. So again, at first it was scary and intimidating, but I actually like it. It's what we need.
Yes. I would like to say, in a way, it's become a tool.
Yeah.
Knowing that you have a community to reach out to without judgment, and to give yourself a voice. For me, it's become a tool, and you're all saying yes, so I know it's become one for you as well. Isabel, how about for you? What is having this sisterhood like?
I'd like to compare it to another program that I was in. We had 525 members of our group, okay? So we all came on, and there was, 17 pages of Zooms of people that I could potentially meet, narrowing it down to who would be in. What we used to do is break up into pods. So we had 6 people in a pod. Knowing that anonymity was there. They were people who wanted to be my friends on Facebook, but I knew nothing about them. In this, we all know who each other are. We know our stories from as we all drop into the lives. And the other part that's very different about this in the sisterhood, having all of these people who check in on me and say, how are you doing? Or I find out about somebody's dog being sick, and we check in on each other. We're constantly doing these things. But the other part about it is that Brenda knows who we are. She knows our stories. If we ran into her in a supermarket, she would know who we were. We would say, hey, Brenda, what are you doing here? But we're not anonymous. We are not, she is not some person way out there that has a Facebook page or an Instagram page that is speaking into the void. She's speaking to us. And that's the that I do appreciate with the sisterhood, is that we truly are a part of that. And there are people that she might reach out to who need more help than others. But what happens is we all pile on.
Yeah, for sure. And so the community becomes even stronger for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Kelly, talk to me about the sisterhood for you.
Like Alexis, it was overwhelming at first. I don't open up very easily. I don't trust people. So I've always had that wall and that barrier. And this has given me the opportunity to learn new skills and tools to open up, and that it is okay to tell my story, how I saw it and how I felt about it or feel about it. It gave that opportunity, which was nice, because not knowing in the beginning these women, and to be able to not instantly, but as time went on, to be able to tell how my story is. So overcoming that overwhelmness of, like, oh my God, what are they going to think? What are they going to, feel about me? So it was very nice to overcome that. That is not what happened. They, they're very supportive, and, like everybody said, it's just, if something is going on, you have people that are checking in with you or seeing how you're doing. And I think the other thing I found too is, there's a lot of women that are like-minded like me. So, which I'm so sorry, ladies.
Oh, I thought that I was like waiting for it. I'm like, oh,
over your head. But I'm like, they are just as crazy as I am. So
Yeah. So I just wanted to give you a small taste of what it's like to be part of the sisterhood and realize that women of all different walks of life are here. It is true. We have women of all different walks, all different lives. But here's the thing. These tools that you learned are new. And having something like that to support you through this process of continuously growing is second to none. It really is an opportunity for you to be surrounded, right? Your environment impacts the way you are. So you have to step outside and do something in a different space. And like Alexis said, this is a space that's going to meet you where you're at, but bring you up. It's not going to meet you where you're at and help you here. It's like, oh, this is what's going on. Let's support you and move up. And so this is your opportunity. Because today we only have a few days left with the application for Freedom to be filled out. And I just want to share with you again what it is all about. And Freedom is a transformational program that supports you and guides you into owning you, owning your story, owning what you feel is your truest essence. And so we have weekly group support. I'll go into that in a little bit, but Spirit of Freedom it was developed to help you heal your past. It was developed to help you understand yourself, to get to know yourself so that you can create big things in life. And my mission is to help women to create miracles, to turn your struggles into miracles, because I truly, truly believe that. With my abuse and my rapes as a child, I look at that. That was my catalyst to my connection to who I was, my connection to God. And it propelled me into that connection and living in a state of elevation, of expansion, of gratitude. And so this Fear of Freedom is about developing your passions, your peace, your internal peace, about increasing your intuition, trusting you, trusting the process of life, trusting others, trusting women, trusting men, trusting in general. It helps you to build your confidence because you own you. You own yourself. You release judgment. It helps you to step into your goddess and into your truest essence. And your goddess will look different than my goddess. My goddess will look different than somebody else's goddess. It awakens you to truly who you are so that you can have fun again, feel good and enjoy life. It helps you to activate your heart to your fullest expression of you, to feel comfortable in your body, allowing you to be a powerful, powerful woman. It also helps you to develop, your communication, so you enhance your relationships. So Freedom is for you if you're looking to discover pure joy. I didn't know pure joy existed, to be honest. I didn't even know joy existed. But pure joy is just, I don't know how to explain it until you actually feel it. It's for you if you're ready to stop hiding, if you're ready to heal the past and let go of the people and situations that have hurt you. You're still holding on to the past, you're still allowing the past to continue to hurt you. If you want to feel more confident and empowered and manifest great things in your life, if you want to be comfortable and move forward in your life, if you're ready to invest in time and money and in yourself, if you're ready to invest in yourself and still feel scared, or if you tried everything and nothing else worked. I can't tell you how many women I have worked with that had come from me from all different types of work. Just the 4 that you saw on the screen, I can tell you I've tried other programs, I've done therapy, and nothing has worked for them as much as this has. So let me break it down for you and so that you can see all of what you're getting. You have 13 weekly group live transformational sessions with your pod, with myself.
It's valued at $6,500. The amount of transformation that you will have in 13 weeks is amazing. And I could tell you, Christine, the first one there that spoke, she had only been in the program for about 8 weeks, maybe less. The others actually have been with me a little bit longer. You get to have weekly group work. This is where you get to really have videos that I support you with, and some group work assignments so that you can create daily habits, daily practices to embody what you're learning. It's valued at $5,000. You have resources to utilize that are there for you in your membership, so that when you're having a challenge, you have something that can go help you immediately to reprogram your subconscious. Valued at $1,500. Your sisterhood and connection to your sisterhood is priceless. You have access to myself and my coaches. One of the women was telling me, if you wanted to call a therapist to pay out of pocket, it'd be a $300 call. You have access to all of us. There's two coaches and myself daily for support. You have 2 healing meditations live with our coaches, and you get certified in energy healing, Reiki, which is another tool to help with your anxiety. So all you have to do to take advantage of this is go to apply.brendakiss.com. Apply.brendakiss.com. I'll drop it in the chat here on Zoom. Apply. Go fill out the application. And the reason that there's an application process is that we want to make sure you're a right fit. We want to make sure when you go through our program, you're going to have transformation. So we get to have a conversation around that. But I say, if not now, when? Life is now. Life is now. If I could put in a jar where you could be 13 weeks from now, your answer would be yes, without a shadow of a doubt. But you have to get out of your own way, and you have to let yourself believe enough to fill in the application. Let yourself believe enough. So, let me go back because I didn't even share the price. I meant to share the price. So it's a total value of just over $14,000. We have a special offer happening right now, where it's only $2,300 or our payment plan options, which will be discussed on your application call. But that is the pay in full price. And so it's a huge savings. It's a huge savings for a massive transformation. I can go on, and I encourage you to go into the Facebook group and look at some of the women that are sharing their stories about Fear to Freedom. How some of the women that are sharing what their life like is now. There's tons of them in there. I encourage you to check it out, because what's your potential is waiting for you. Your fullest expression of yourself, you wouldn't be here if you didn't want that for yourself. And I'll say this, tomorrow we're going to go over resistance. Resistance is what holds you back. I remember when I was going to invest in myself. So just to give some perspective, this is going back over a decade, or just about a decade ago, actually. And I was in the lowest of the lowest place that I had ever been in my life. My best friend had moved across the country. I was married. I had 3 children at the time. And when she moved across the country, she was my security blanket. So when she moved across the country, all of my problems came out. Like, she helped cover them. Like, she gave me security, made me feel like I was okay. So much so that I couldn't even go to the grocery store. I didn't even know how I was going to live, how I was going to support my family emotionally. I was in my head around my abuse. I was eating myself away, literally, with food, hiding in the closet so my boys didn't see me. And I was in a state of knowing that life was good. I just didn't know how to connect with that good. I just didn't know what was stopping me from feeling good. And I had hit rock bottom. So much so that when my kids came out of the hall, down the hall to say good morning, I didn't know if I should say hello or hi to my children. And then I was referred to somebody. I remember going to, an event. I was so excited to go to this event. My first event out in a long time. I bought a new dress. I got all dressed up. And four people there asked me if I was having my fourth child. I wasn't pregnant, nor do I have a fourth child. But that's how much weight I had gained. That's how much stress I was holding on into my body. And she referred me to reach out to somebody. And I was terrified. You've heard my story in the past about how I had beliefs around needing help. And she told me to reach out to somebody. And I reached out to somebody, and I had a phone call with her. I remember being terrified to have the phone call. Didn't know what was going to happen on that call. But I do know that after talking with her, there was hope in my life for a better life. I felt like I had a solution. And I came home to my husband and I said, I found something that's going to help me. $3,500. And he was just like, Brenda, we can't do that. That money's for the kids. And I remember looking at him and I said, but it's going to help me. And he said to me, you can be selfish and take the money, or you can leave the money for the kids. How many moms out there would have took the money for themselves? That's awesome, Linda. For me, it was the hardest decision I ever made in my life. It can bring me to tears. Because I knew at that time, if I didn't change, I wasn't going to be there emotionally for my children. And then there was so much guilt around taking money that was to support them in their education and our livelihood. And so when I made that decision, I decided that I needed to be selfish for the first time in my life. That was the hardest decision I've ever made. And it was the best decision I've ever made in my life because it gave me the opportunity to find me. And now I live my life. I live my life with my children, my husband, and just whatever we want, we have. Or we know how to create it. Just imagine for yourself if you were able to do that for you. The best decisions aren't always the easiest decisions to make. Follow your heart. I did. The women that you just heard from did. The women in the Facebook group did. All of them had resistance around spending money on themselves, and all of them figured it out and created it, and actually by making this investment created money for themselves because they changed their belief systems, and then new opportunities came into their life. Don't wish it, Linda, create it. There's nothing I didn't have that nobody else could create. I encourage you, I invite you, if your heart is telling you to move forward, to fill out the application. apply.brendakiss.com. Join us tomorrow to learn how to move through resistance. Know that the application process is coming to an end Tuesday, so you want to make sure to do it now. Make the best decision you can make for yourself, not the easiest decision. I truly love you, and I can't wait to spend more time with you. Till next time.